Greg Stoker is a military and geopolitical analyst at Mint Press News. He joins us now live from Austin, Texas. Greg, thank you so much for being with us. Hamas has said it's not shut the door on negotiations despite what we've seen, the ongoing Israeli bombing and the taking of the Netzarim corridor. Do you think there's any salvaging the ceasefire?
Well, first of all, if we look at the actual targets that they struck, that both the IDF and Hamas's media bureau have correlated and confirmed, they're mostly political targets. They killed a minister of justice, the actual head of the Hamas government in Gaza as well. So they're actually focusing on taking out these high value political targets who are civilians, who are not military commanders, who are in charge of the process or ancillary to the process of actually getting a ceasefire done and agreed upon a negotiated. It reminds me of last year when they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, and he was one of the more pro-peace, pro-negotiation members of the Hamas political bureau. He was also in charge of it, so he had to go. So this is nothing new, this tactic that they have. And it's, again, generally civilian targets and how they do their targeting parameters. If they suspect someone, a Hamas member, even if they're a political official, to be in an apartment building, they'll just drop the entire apartment building, not at all worried about who's inside.
And Greg, now that Itamar Ben-Gvir is back in Netanyahu's cabinet and Netanyahu's fragile coalition relies on the far-right support to continue to exist, and the far-right simply want Palestinians gone, what do you think this means for the people of Gaza?
Well, in the short term, President Trump's decision to up the escalation in terms of targeting in Yemen and the strikes in Yemen, it's given Israel political cover in a way to do what it wants. Since the big imperial power is doing it, they feel like they are empowered to do it too. They did before, but now I think they're going to double down on what they were on their former tactics, which is cut off aid, massive bombing campaigns. They're going to set up checkpoints along the Netzarim corridor with dismounted and mechanized infantry units, and then do sorties, raids out into areas that they had taken before. And the result is going to be more civilian death. And just like before, they are not going to achieve any of their operational goals. Just like in Yemen, just like in Gaza Strip, you don't accomplish objectives or hold ground just by aerial bombing campaigns. So this is just a tactic that didn't work. It didn't work in Vietnam. Hasn't worked. 20 years of U.S. engagement in this region, and it's basically just meant to clear out the population, slowly break their will. It's basically what we would call in the military a terror bombing campaign, because there's not really any military purpose. Like the 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs that they're dropping can't penetrate the tunnel systems where the bulk of Hamas fighting forces shelter unless they come out to conduct ambushes or sniper operations or raids. So yes, the civilians are going to take the brunt of it, and the Israeli far-right coalition is very pleased by that. And we can see that Itamar Ben-Gvir is brought on to shore up his base. And though we're seeing massive protests in Tel Aviv, we have to understand that the majority of the Israeli population, while many of them hate Netanyahu, they do support this kind of military action.
And I want to touch on what you mentioned there regarding the United States' role here. Israel, of course, said it consulted with the states on resuming bombing, but that seemed to many analysts that was more of a heads up. What role do you think the Trump administration will play going forward? Is there any chance of it stepping in to force Israel back to negotiations?
Well, I was talking about this last summer when Trump was on the campaign trail. He is not an anti-war, anti-globalist, anti-imperialist candidate like a lot of his base thinks. He's going to continue to give unconditional military support to Israel, continue to escalate in Yemen, allow Israel, or basically not challenge Israel at all as they open up another bombing campaign in southern Lebanon. And he's basically going to just use this opportunity to try and expand the Abraham Accords. During his first administration, the normalization between the UAE and Bahrain. Now he's going to pressure the Lebanese government, the new Syrian government, and the Iraqi government in order to do this pan-normalization thing. That's what we're kind of looking at. So if he can do that through force, economic sanctions, all in with the purpose of isolating Iran, which is another core objective of Israel, it seems like the foreign policy is pretty in tandem and in sync right now.
Greg Stoker, military and geopolitical analyst at Mint Press News. Thank you so much for your analysis.